People have become so comfortable with their own incompetence that they've invented grievances against the laws of physics, the structure of society, and the basic concept of cause and effect. What you're about to witness is a curated collection of complaints so detached from reality that they make you question whether we're all living in the same world. Fair warning, your faith in collective human intelligence is about to take a serious hit. 1. A woman at a grocery store demanded a refund for eggs because, and I quote, they're too oval. The store explained that this is what eggs look like. She insisted they should be rounder, like in the pictures. They're photographs, ma'am, from different angles. 2. A customer complained to a pizza restaurant that their large pepperoni pizza had too many pepperonis. When asked how many would be acceptable, they couldn't say. Apparently, the problem wasn't the amount. It was that they weren't evenly distributed in a pattern that made sense to them personally. The pizza was cut into 8 slices, and they expected each slice to have an identical number. Mathematics isn't a suggestion, it's just inconvenient. 3. Someone returned a smart home device because it wouldn't work when unplugged. They'd removed it from the wall outlet and expected it to maintain functionality. The company patiently explained how batteries work. The customer was offended that this wasn't common knowledge they should have been spared from learning. 4. A gym member filed a complaint because the treadmill was making them tired. They believed a treadmill's job was to simulate running without the exhaustion. They were upset that their body had a biological response to physical exertion. Apparently, exercise equipment should include a fatigue filter. 5. A parent complained to their child's school that homework was ruining their evening, specifically because they had to help with it. When told that homework was optional for the student but not for the parent to supervise, they demanded the school stop assigning it entirely. The audacity of education for having expectations. 6. A customer at a coffee shop sent back their drink 3 times because it was too hot. Each time, it was the exact temperature espresso is served at. They wanted hot coffee served cold. The barista suggested iced coffee. The customer said that was basically water. No winning here. 7. Someone complained to an airline that their flight was delayed due to bad weather, as if weather has a customer service department, and simply chose malice. They demanded compensation for the hurricane. The universe's timing is apparently now a service failure. 8. A person returned a cookbook because the recipes required too many ingredients. They wanted a cookbook where every meal used the exact same 4 items. Culinary diversity is now a product defect. 9. A tenant complained to their landlord that the sun was coming through their south-facing windows too much in the afternoon. They wanted the landlord to do something about it. Apparently, solar positioning is within the scope of property management. Close the blinds? No. That's the landlord's job now. 10. Someone filed a noise complaint against the library because it was too quiet. The silence was making them uncomfortable. They expected background music. When told it's a library, they asked why the rules couldn't be changed for them specifically. 11. A customer demanded a refund from a seafood restaurant because the fish tasted too fishy. It's a fish restaurant. This is what you paid for. This is the literal product. But it didn't taste like chicken, which is apparently the universal fallback for people who don't actually enjoy their food. 12. A person complained that their smartphone was too smart and made decisions without asking permission. They were referring to autocorrect. They wanted a phone that anticipated their intent, but also never assumed anything about their intent. Both things cannot be true. 13. Someone returned a sweater to a clothing store because it itched. They'd worn it for a week and then decided this was the store's fault. When asked why they'd kept it on if it itched, they said they needed proof. Proof of what? That fabric has texture? 14. A gym goer complained that mirrors in the locker room were reflecting them too accurately. They wanted mirrors that were somehow more flattering. They wanted physics to lie. When told that's how mirrors work, they accused the gym of body shaming through accuracy. 15. A customer at a restaurant complained that the water wasn't cold enough. Not the ice water, just regular water. They expected room temperature water to be ice cold without ice. When offered ice, they said ice is too chunky and waters down the water. Which is exactly what ice does, yes. 16. Someone complained to their internet provider that Wi-Fi was too invisible. They wanted to be able to see the signal. When told it's not visible light, they suggested the company make it visible. Add color to Wi-Fi. A feature so unnecessary it has made them genuinely angry that it doesn't exist. 17. A person returned a plant because it died without permission. They hadn't watered it. They believed the plant should have notified them somehow before expiring. A text message, perhaps? A plant with your cell number? 18. A customer complained to a movie theater that the film was too long. It was a 2-hour standard runtime. They wanted the movie cut down to 45 minutes so it wouldn't take all evening. Everything streamlined, nothing developed. Speed up the narrative, skip character arcs, get them out the door. 19. Someone demanded a refund from a hotel because the pillows weren't fluffy enough in their dreams. The pillows weren't responsible for their subconscious. But in their mind, a hotel should curate their REM sleep. When told that's not possible, they said the hotel was negligent. 20. A person complained that automatic doors weren't opening fast enough. They wanted them faster. When they were adjusted, they complained the doors were opening before people arrived and looked stupid. So they wanted them to open only when they were exactly at the threshold, instantly with no sensors. They want magic door technology. 21. Someone complained to a bank that they were charged for using their own money. They were referring to the ATM fee at a different bank's machine. It's not their bank's ATM, so there's a small fee. They believe that all money, everywhere, should be their money with no transaction cost. The concept of operating a service is just greed, apparently. 22. A person returned a mirror to a home goods store because it was showing them things they didn't want to see. Their own reflection. They wanted a mirror that selectively reflected based on what made them feel good. A confidence mirror. A product designed for delusion. 23. Someone complained to their neighbors about their dog barking in the middle of the day while they were trying to sleep. In the afternoon, they worked nights and had reversed their sleep schedule. They expected the neighborhood to maintain quiet hours based on their personal circadian rhythm. Everyone's dog should know their sleep schedule. 24. A customer demanded a refund from a bakery because the cookies were too cookie-like. Too crumbly, too sweet, too much texture. They wanted cookies that were somehow the convenience of crackers but the pleasure of candy, with zero cookies about them. Basically, they wanted something that wasn't cookies, but they wanted it from a bakery. 25. A person complained to their electric company that their bill was too high and demanded to know why. Usage was tracked, rates were public, the math was simple. They just didn't want to pay what they'd used. They wanted electricity to cost less based on feeling. Negotiable utility rates based on vibes. 26. Someone returned a door lock because it wouldn't open without the right key. They'd lost their key and expected the lock to recognize them anyway. A lock that doesn't lock is not a lock. But this person wanted the safety of locked doors with the convenience of open doors. Can't have both, friend. 27. A gym member complained that other people were using the gym during peak hours. They wanted a gym where they had sole access at their preferred time. When told they could go at off-peak hours, they said those hours weren't good for them. So they wanted everyone else to accommodate their schedule. The gym should be a personal service. 28. A customer complained to a clothing store that their size wasn't available. They'd come in looking for something specific, it wasn't in stock, and therefore the store had failed. Not that they could order it online or come back later. The store had failed them personally, right now, in this moment. 29. Someone demanded a refund from an airline for a flight they didn't miss because they spent money and didn't go. They changed their mind, but still paid. When told their ticket was non-refundable, they said that was unfair to them. The airline wasn't flexible enough. The airline should have called to confirm they still wanted to go. The airline should be telepathic. 30. A person complained to a gym that exercise equipment was too uncomfortable to use. It wasn't supposed to be comfortable, it's supposed to challenge your body. But this person wanted machines that felt nice while somehow still providing the benefits of exertion. Therapeutic exercise equipment that doesn't feel like exercise. 31. Someone returned a jacket because it was too warm. They'd bought a winter coat in winter and complained it worked too well. They wanted a coat that was warm but felt like it wasn't warm, so they didn't notice they were being kept warm. A stealth jacket. 32. A customer demanded the return of a chair because it gave them back pain. They'd sat in it daily for 6 months without complaint, then one day decided the chair was dangerous. They demanded the company retroactively refund 6 months of sitting. Comfort has an expiration date apparently, and the product is liable when it expires. 33. Someone complained to their internet provider that they had to use a password to access their Wi-Fi. They believed security features were inconvenient. When told that passwords protect their network, they said that was the company's problem to solve, not theirs. Someone else should come up with a security system that requires zero effort to remember or input. 34. A person complained that a frozen food item tasted like it had been frozen. They'd purchased frozen food, thawed it, and somehow expected it to taste like fresh food. Freezing doesn't change the molecular structure back to fresh, it just stops decay. But this person wanted the impossible texture and taste profile of something that had never been frozen. 35. Someone returned a book to a library, then later complained that the book was no longer available when they wanted to read it. They'd had it for weeks, returned it, then expected it to be waiting on the shelf specifically for them without holding it. The audacity of other people checking out books. 36. A customer demanded a refund from a gas station because they'd bought premium fuel and their car wasn't going any faster. They believed premium gas should make their car faster. When told that premium fuel is for higher octane engines and their car doesn't have one, they said that was false advertising. The product didn't work as they imagined it. 37. Someone complained to their doctor that they'd been prescribed medication, taken it correctly, and were upset the medication had side effects. All medications have potential side effects. That's listed, explained, discussed. But this person believed their specific body should be the exception. The pharmaceutical company should have customized the drug for their particular biology. 38. A person complained to a gym that they'd gained weight despite going to the gym once a week while maintaining their regular diet. They believed the gym should work like a magic box, where you show up and transformation happens. 1 visit per week should be enough. Exercise requires consistency, and they'd found an inconsistent approach wasn't working. Surely the gym's fault. 39. Someone demanded a refund from a movie theater because the movie had sad parts. They'd bought a ticket to a drama and were upset it had emotional content. When told that's the genre, they said the theater should have warned them. A trigger warning for sadness in a sad movie. Preemptive emotional spoiler alerts. 40. A customer returned a pillow because they woke up with a sore neck. They'd bought the pillow, used it nightly, and after 2 weeks decided it was defective. When asked how they slept before, they said they had no frame of reference. They'd never owned a pillow before. So they're upset that a product designed for neck support might require adjustment after a lifetime without it. 41. A person complained to their landlord that the neighbors were being too loud in their own apartment. They could hear normal life sounds through the walls. When told the walls aren't soundproof, they said that should be the landlord's responsibility. Soundproofing of an entire building because they can hear people existing. 42. Someone demanded a refund from a grocery store because they'd bought fresh produce and it wasn't fresh anymore after they left it in a warm car for a week. They wanted the store to guarantee freshness indefinitely, regardless of storage conditions. Food should stay fresh forever, apparently, defying plant biology. 43. A customer complained to a restaurant that their water glass had condensation on it. The glass was cold, the air was warm, water was doing what water does. They found this unprofessional. When offered a coaster or a dry glass, they said the restaurant should have invented a glass that doesn't sweat. Physics-defying drinkware should be standard. 44. Someone complained to an airline that their seatmate existed too close to them. The person next to them had taken their own seat, the seat they'd been assigned. This was somehow a violation. They demanded the airline remove someone else. The airplane should have left a seat empty based on their personal space preferences. 45. A person returned a lamp because it was too bright. They'd bought a lamp with a bulb they could have replaced. Instead of replacing the bulb, they returned it for not meeting brightness preferences they'd never specified. The lamp was working exactly as a lamp works, badly if you've chosen the wrong wattage. 46. Someone complained to their gym that they'd paid for a membership but felt pressured to exercise. The existence of exercise equipment in a gym was making them anxious. When told they could sit in the lobby, they said that felt judgmental. The gym should have a judgment-free zone that's also somehow motivating. Contradiction as a service. 47. A customer demanded a refund from a grocery store because the bananas they'd bought were yellow. They'd specifically selected yellow bananas, paid for yellow bananas, and were upset when yellow bananas arrived as yellow. They'd wanted them to be green but also ripe. Quantum banana state, banana. 48. Someone complained to their employer that they had to show up to their job at their scheduled time. This was unreasonable. When told that's what employment means, they said they should be paid for working whenever they felt like it. Flexibility that's also a guarantee. Income without commitment. 49. A person complained to a clothing store that a shirt they'd bought didn't fit them. They'd ordered their usual size, it was the usual size, but it fit them differently. When told that sizes vary between brands, they said the store should enforce universal sizing. All stores should standardize clothing dimensions to match their specific body. 50. Someone demanded that a hotel refund them because they booked a room and expected it to not exist without them. They'd booked a room, showed up late, and the hotel had given it to another guest. They believed the room should have been held indefinitely with no confirmation. Hotels should keep rooms empty based on assumption. 51. A customer complained to a phone company that their bill was high because they'd used a lot of data. When shown their usage, it was factually high. They demanded lower rates because they'd used more than others. They wanted usage-based billing that didn't actually change based on usage. A discount for using the service. 52. Someone returned a blanket because it wasn't staying on the bed. It was falling off during the night. When asked how they used it, they explained they thrashed around significantly. They wanted a blanket that would grip them during movement, a self-adhering blanket that wouldn't move no matter how much they did. 53. A person complained to a theater that the movie had a plot twist they didn't see coming. This was viewed as deceptive. The movie hadn't warned them that the ending would surprise them. When told that surprises are the point of plot twists, they said this was unfair to their predictive abilities. Movies should telegraph their own surprises. 54. Someone demanded a refund from a gym because their trainer corrected their form. They'd paid for a trainer, the trainer had done their job, and this feedback was unwelcome. They wanted a trainer who would supervise them doing things wrong and simply charge them for the time. Correction-free guidance. 55. A customer complained to a coffee shop that their iced coffee didn't taste as strong as hot coffee. Different extraction, different methodology, different drink. When explained, they said the science was irrelevant to their expectations. The coffee should taste identical regardless of temperature or preparation method. 56. Someone returned a sweater that didn't fit, and after the return window closed, demanded an exception because they'd gained weight since purchasing it. The sweater fit them when they bought it. They'd changed, not the sweater. but they believed the store should accommodate their personal life decisions retroactively. 57. A person complained to their employer that they had to attend a mandatory meeting about job requirements. They found the meeting unnecessary. When told it was required compliance training, they said rules shouldn't apply to them. They wanted employment that included no expectations, no meetings, and no rules about their conduct. 58. Someone demanded a refund from a bookstore because they'd read the entire book and wanted their money back. They'd consumed the product, gotten the value, and believed they shouldn't have to pay. When told that's not how purchasing works, they accused the bookstore of unfair business practices. Returnable literature. 59. A customer complained to an airline that they'd booked the cheapest ticket, and when asked to pay for checked baggage, they were shocked. They'd selected the option that didn't include baggage, then expected baggage to be included. When told they'd unchecked that option, they said they didn't read it carefully. The airline should have made them read the fine print by forcing them to. 60. Someone complained to a hotel that their room was on a high floor and they had to walk to the elevator. The hotel's elevator was down the hall. They wanted their room adjacent to the elevator. They wanted a custom floor plan based on their laziness. Architectural design based on 10-step avoidance. 61. A person demanded a refund from a restaurant because the menu was too large. Too many choices, too overwhelming. They wanted a restaurant to reduce options so their decision would be easier. Smaller menus because they found selecting from variety challenging. 62. Someone complained to their cable provider that they were charged for channels they didn't watch. Cable packages include networks they don't consume. When told they could choose a smaller package, they said that also wasn't enough channels. They wanted all channels at the price of none. Subsidized entertainment. 63. And finally, someone complained to their apartment complex that living there was making them unhappy. They'd chosen the apartment, signed the lease, and were now upset about the conditions they'd agreed to. When asked what needed to change, they said everything, but couldn't specify anything. They wanted rent-free housing redesigned to match a fantasy, or they wanted the complex to read their mind and fix problems they hadn't articulated. If this restored some faith in your own sanity, hit like and subscribe for more observations about why common sense isn't actually common.